I really like it when two objects fit perfectly, one inside the other. I find it really satisfying. In this case, the smaller box, the slightly smaller box, fits so perfectly inside the second box. The difference is so subtle that when the small one is dropped inside the big one, it travels slowly, it's not forced. And somebody has done this and thought, yeah, I'll make a video of that, and then I'll put it on my computer and I'll turn it into a GIF and I'll put it online so other people can see it. So they must have saw something in this too. I saw it once with a Pringles can and a bottle, a glass bottle of something. Do you see it sometimes where it's like they hold each other? They don't exactly fit inside, they just kind of fit so they sit one on top of the other but perfectly. And it's like the bigger one holds the smaller one in place, and that's nice too, but when it travels there's a displacement. So when you watch that glass bottle slide inside the Pringles tube, it's like the air underneath it is trying to get out, but because the space between the two along the sides is so small, it can't get out that quickly, and that's why it travels down so slowly. It's an acknowledgement of each other's boundaries, because they are two separate things, and it's almost like they were made to be together, but they're so unrelated. It's wonderful, really, because it's just chance, it's just pure fluke. It could be anything. Like, it's not like Pringles got in touch with the bottle company and said, hey, here's a really good idea, let's make it so our two objects almost are the almost exact dimensions, but not quite. Hey, just let's let the consumers find out for themselves. And it's these boundaries, they're kind of touching each other, they're so close, but they're not quite touching each other. They're not close enough to become each other, there's no chemistry involved, they're just travelling through slowly. I'm not sure why I like it so much. When you think about the human body is hollow. There's a hole that runs straight through from the mouth to the anus. That's hollow, it's like a donut. Someone told me that once, I think they'd heard it on Radio 4. So when you place things in the body, like when you eat food, and you chew it down, and you swallow it, it travels straight through. It's like it's falling through. And okay, there are bits are absorbed, the nutrients are absorbed, the bits that you need are absorbed, but not all of it is. And it keeps going through the body, and it's helped along, it might be pushed along a little bit, and then it keeps going, never a part of your body kind of withering down the whole time, and then joining on with other bits of food until eventually it's shut out and it falls straight through the body. It's not quick and you don't notice it, but that whatever you put in your mouth, it's never ever been a part of your body. It falls straight through. It's separate. Just like the two boxes, or the Pringles container and the glass bottle. Because the two aren't related. It's not like the can was designed to hold the bottle. It was designed to hold some crisps. And it's not like we need the crisps. They're kind of fun to have at parties, but they're not necessary to survive. And the bottle was used to hold something completely different. It's all completely chance. That somebody even thought to put one inside the other in the first place, that's pretty wonderful. Because why would you do that? But hey up, that looks a lot like that's going to fit exactly into that. Like, oh, we'll give that a go, let's see what happens. And then, whoa, no way, it does. I'll get the camera out, that's amazing. that relation is so satisfying. The movement, one going inside the other, is so. It sounds like I'm talking about sex. I'm not really. I'm not really talking about sex. Because if I was, I'd be talking about watching a pornographic video instead of a GIF. And I have seen pornographic videos, but it's not the same satisfaction. Because with pornography, the fantasy versus the reality is so far removed. If you have a fetish, you've got an idea, a solid idea in your head what you want out of that, how it's going to be. And if you turn to fulfill that fetish, to fulfill that fantasy through watching pornography, it's all a bit forced and it's all incredibly fake. Even the amateur stuff, it's all incredibly fake. It's bad acting. It's not the natural way that you'd want it to flow. So on the one hand, yeah, you'll probably receive sexual gratification via your hand. You're not getting the full fantasy. It's not the same at all. It's an episode of Sex and the City, and it's Samantha Jones and Carrie Bradshaw, and they're walking and they're having a laugh and they're walking down the street. In a previous episode, Samantha had a go at having a relationship with a guy who had a really small penis. She kind of liked it. She liked him quite a lot, actually, but it just didn't work because his penis was so small and she really liked sex and she just couldn't get any satisfaction from that. But in this particular episode, Samantha's been seeing a guy who's actually got a massive willy, like really huge. Like she's never been able to kind of receive it. She's tried, like she's even smoked a bit of dope and everything. Like it's not going in. Sorry to sound crude, but it's just not. And so she's had to dump him basically because she can't have sex with him. She wants to so bad, but she just can't. So she's telling Carrie this, and then Carrie's thinking about her old boyfriend who had a little tiny willy, and she says something like, "Who are you, Goldie Cox?" And then Samantha says, "That's me. I'm looking for the one that's just right." I never really liked Samantha's sense of humour. Like, she's not the witty one in the group. Her one-liners are just so cheesy, they're really corny, and it's just not my real sense of humour. But the Pringles container and the bottle that fits so perfectly inside it, despite their boundaries, it's not about sex. It's about something else. It's filling another space, and not only filling another space, but displacing the space that's already there. It's filling up the other thing. That could be a bit like two people. Everyone's got a hole in the middle of them. Out of one end comes words. Those words have started inside your body and enter into a space where they're received by a second individual. And when the second individual receives those words, something happens. Like they understand them, they register them, or maybe they don't exactly understand them on your terms, but they get an impression of you. It's more permanent than, like, you eat your food and then you shit it out at the other end. When words leave your body, it's more permanent. It leaves something more lasting, and it's interesting because it's not traceable, not directly anywhere, unless you're recording the words. Unless somebody's sat with a microphone and you're recording the words, it's not permanent. There's no mark left behind. It just enters a physical space. Then that's just left up to the other person. And if they misunderstand you, then those words, they just fall straight through. The two separate bodies have boundaries, but you can't fill those boundaries because to enter into the other person's body would mean to kill them or to ingest them, to eat them and swallow them down. But even then, they wouldn't be a part of you. your body just takes out the nutrients that it needs. The rest of it just falls straight through and comes out as shit.